We built up a really successful multi-million-dollar agency.
What the hell is happening with SEO today? How do we show that Backlinko is still a place where we want SEOs, marketers?
The biggest thing that we're trying to do with Backlinko going forward is really leveraging industry, like people that are doing awesome work in the industry. We just want to show people this is how to be successful in SEO.
And this is how real people are getting successful.
Yeah, exactly. It's a time to be working on SEO.
I saw a little battle between Ahrefs and SEMrush happening on LinkedIn, which was director of brand. We love the beef. What does it actually mean to optimize for AI overviews? That's a huge question, but what's your opinion on it?
Hey everyone, I'm Leigh and welcome to the new Backlinko YouTube channel. I wanted to kick things off today with a conversation introducing myself, talking about my experience and how I'm viewing SEO and content marketing in 2025. So I sat down with Diandra. She heads up social here and we just had a pretty wide-ranging conversation that I'm excited to share with you. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Okay, well, look at us. We are relaunching Backlinko's YouTube channel. This is super, super exciting because we're finally getting the experts within Backlinko out and about, not only with their personal accounts, but also with the YouTube channel. And I'm here with Leigh McKenzie, head of growth at Backlinko. How are you today, Leigh?
I'm doing great. Really excited to finally kick off this conversation. We've been, over the last couple of years, putting a lot of work into the blog and the written content that we put out. Also a lot on social media, specifically LinkedIn, with your help, Diandra. But it's definitely time to finally get back into video, something I've personally avoided a little bit over the years. But I think we need to practice what we preach as far as omnichannel SEO. It's just more important than ever before. So we want to take all the great work that we're doing on the blog and be sharing it again on YouTube, following in Brian's original footsteps.
Amazing. Yeah. Brian Dean had big personality as himself. And the whole Backlinko team has been struggling a little bit with that. Like, okay, how do we show that Backlinko is still a place where we want SEOs, marketers, people that are trying to understand what the hell is happening with SEO today, being able to come through the blogs that we're creating or to any of the people working at Backlinko's LinkedIn content, now on YouTube, and who knows on what other channels, that it's like a place where they know they're going to get genuine, valuable content from practitioners that are actually doing the work every single day and that are putting their hands in the dough. So super, super excited. And this first video, we wanted to do it a little bit more of an interview to you as the new face of Backlinko, the head of growth, the person is trying to put in the engine for this to be the best place to learn about SEO, marketing in general. So I want to start with your background. For people who don't know you yet, or haven't seen how famous you are on LinkedIn now, how did you get into SEO and what brought you to Backlinko?
So I am really excited. I think sharing my bona fides and my experience over the years, kind of how I led up to this moment is just helpful to kind of set the stage as to why I think the work that we are putting out on Backlinko, myself and the team, is worth reading. To go way back, I first got into SEO pretty randomly by responding to a Craigslist ad after I was trying to figure out what to do towards the end of my college career. I had been interested in digital marketing, was taking a minor in university, and had started in high school building websites, just being online, trying to figure out how to do the marketing thing, digital marketing. And when it came to this Craigslist ad that I found, it was an SEO apprenticeship. People not in the US don't know Craigslist is kind of like a random job board for whatever you want to buy and sell and find locally. So I came across this SEOapprenticeship.com ad and I didn't quite know what to expect. But it was Nick Eubanks, he's pretty popular in the industry, really well known for keyword research back in the day, now the VP of owned media at SEMrush. He was looking to move from his in-house e-commerce role to start his own agency. And he needed somebody to come in and kind of learn the ropes and help with all the deliverables. So we met up, we had a great initial conversation, and then he kind of just threw me to the wolves and said, learn SEO. We had some initial clients in e-com and then picked up some in law. And then fast forward several years later, kind of trying my hand at everything in SEO from link building at the beginning to technical to content strategy. We built up a really successful multi-million-dollar agency, a really awesome team that just excelled at all of the work that we did and put out. I built the SEO department, eventually kind of the broader digital strategy department. So SEO was the bread and butter of the work that we were doing, but also content production, design, development, all of it together for our clients. So fast forward several years of consulting work. I took a little bit of time off to focus on an affiliate project that I had built out on my own that was doing quite well. Also my own e-commerce brand. And the opportunity presented itself a couple of years ago when Nick came into his role at SEMrush and was handed Backlinko and needed some help running it. So he said I should come in. And I was really excited about the opportunity. It's like a marketer's playground to go just build Backlinko. I love the freedom that we have within the SEMrush as an organization to basically publish whatever we want. We've got some basic KPIs, but my main focus and my team's main focus is we just want to publish the best SEO, content marketing, link building, digital strategy content we possibly can. We want to focus on content that's just very actionable and helpful, very much along the same lines that Brian Dean built Backlinko, the brand Backlinko, and that's just our focus going forward. And right now, as we're kind of dealing with all of the evolution in the SEO industry that everybody else is going through, we're trying to figure out how to adjust our strategy. What can we double down on that we know works really well? Creating awesome content is like the foundation of it, but starting to expand and play around with different mediums like video and is the future of our strategy. So really exciting. It's a time to be working on SEO, I think.
Yeah, super exciting. Actually, fun story about Nick. I met him at Spotlight and it was super random. I was just like walking and he was walking and it's like, oh my God, I think I know you. I think I know as well. We just started joking about the Balkans and stuff like that. I hope we get him soon. I won't tell you the jokes because maybe I have some Balkan fellas over here watching the channel, but loved it, loved it. You guys have some interesting things, but I love the Balkans. And hopefully we can get him soon on the channel as well. He's a great personality, such a fun person. And that's, I think, the best part about this type of format. Like, you actually see someone's personality, how fun they are. And I've met a few of the Backlinko team members, and they're all just such unique people that I can't wait to start getting them here. So,
yeah,
on to the next question. Oh,
just
sorry. Here you
go. So, yeah, no, that's fine. I would love to bring Nick on to the whatever this becomes, this YouTube channel, this podcast, whatever we're figuring out right now. Because I think the biggest thing that we're trying to do with Backlinko going forward is really leveraging industry, like people that are doing awesome work in the industry or have a lot of experience and can share it. I think Brian was really great when he was creating Backlinko early on at like doing the work himself and figuring out how to increase traffic on Google, how to build backlinks at scale, how to build like skyscraper content. Like he did that all himself. What we are able to leverage now is just going and finding people that are doing awesome work. If you're a particularly awesome international SEO or technical SEO, or if you are branding yourself an AIO or whatever, GEO, I just want to be able to leverage and kind of show off the stuff that people are doing in the industry that is having real impacts for their businesses, for their clients' businesses. And that needs to come across in all the video work we do going forward, but also it's kind of integral in the way we approach content still is not trying to just be a single brand or even focus on any particular software or company. It's like we just want to show people this is how to be successful in SEO and whatever SEO is evolving into.
And this is how real
overall.
people are getting
Yeah, exactly.
successful today, which is the best part.
Yeah.
I love that. So now talking a little bit more into that Brian Dean had a huge personality. He was a one-person marketer that did a freaking amazing job. And there's a huge difference with what Backlinko was before and what it is today. And everyone knows it's just the reality of it. And it's also the reality of the SEO landscape and how things are changing. How has it changed since you took over? Because it was built on publishing a couple awesome posts per month. That's probably not the strategy that's going to be successful today.
Yeah. So we've tried as much as possible to kind of live up to the standard that he set in terms of super actionable content, But it is really hard to scale kind of an individual marketing genius or somebody who is able to spend so much time putting all like so much effort into one particular piece. Also, just like the content marketing world has changed. Is like I don't think people really today want to read some of the 8,000, 10,000 word blog post that Brian wrote several years ago. Like it was great when you wanted to learn how to do on-page SEO back in the day, but it's a little bit overwhelming now, especially if you maybe want to go watch a video instead. What we've tried to do is reverse engineer all of the stuff that he did amazingly well and apply it to a team. So we still work with several of the team members that he had in his production process. So on like the design and development side, some of the content like publishing aspects. What we've tried to do is kind of take everything that works well in his approach and just build it out into a team where we can leverage more and more people that have their own strengths and insights and expertise, pull people in from the industry to specifically share their input and help guide our content. We're always trying to align on like where do we think is the most kind of neutrally helpful direction, not trying to lean too heavily in any one direction if it's a particular company is trying to focus on their services, like that they think link building is the only thing that matters, or content is the only thing that matters. We're trying to find like the middle ground as much as possible for all of the work that we do, and just doing it at a higher scale. So not just 2 articles per month, but ramping that up several fold. Right now, we're kind of intermediate period where we're trying to figure out what the strategy looks like going forward, because just publishing more content is not the approach that necessarily is going to work going forward. It did for a very long time, the last few years in terms of traffic growth. Go check your favorite tool to see how well Backlinko has grown in the last few years. But the tide is shifting. Like just publishing more content. We I don't know. As one example, we rank first or second for backlinks. Huge term, has been one of the best keywords that we have, but traffic is down 30-40% year over year because of how Google is changing. We still have the same ranking, but if we're not able to get the same traffic, we have to adjust our strategy.
And I think this helps us go into a huge conversation that we're going to have, which is all these shifts that are happening in SEO. Because, like you were saying, it's not the same. It just won't ever be the same. And thank God it's not, because we would hate our job if marketers had to literally do the same thing forever and ever. It's fun because it joins a little bit more of the psychology behind what we're doing, behind who our audience is. And something that I think is the funnest to work at Backlinko today is all of these experiments that get to happen internally. And there's no specific, let's say, objective like a lot of blogs have, that it's like, I want people to think that this is the best tool. A lot of these blogs are just writers, subject matter experts having fun with certain topics and finding how they can squeeze the most out of certain things. And this is so exciting because it's showing us a new reality of how people are searching for information, how they're educating themselves. And a big one here is the AI overviews, right? So that is changing everything. I told you last week that we were speaking that I literally have planned all my trips since ChatGPT started, because I travel a lot. I'm very nomadic. I'm in Vienna right now. And I just told ChatGPT, like, I arrive at the train station at this time and I leave at this time. Can you plan every single second of what I'm going to do? And I just look at that and just go, I don't look on Google Maps anymore, like best restaurants. Like that's just how I'm doing it right now. And that doesn't mean that everyone is doing it like that. But what does it actually mean to optimize for AI overviews? That's a huge question, but what's your opinion on it?
I think that where everybody is trying to figure out what that means and what the best definition of that looks like right now, if everybody could agree on it, is going to change in a few months, in 6 months, a year from now, 2-3 years from now. It is what is evolving right now is how do we adapt to this changing landscape? How do we optimize for something where we don't fully understand it yet? I'm at the very beginning just like very wary of anybody who is overly confident about this answer, because it's just there is no clear right answer. So anybody who's telling you is trying to sell you a product or service that is like how to optimize for ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity or whatever, like first just be wary of that because they're full of it at the moment. But that being said, like there are some clear ideas of how this is working, the first thing, even before trying to optimize for it, what I've been thinking more and more about is like, how is my personal search behavior changing? So, like you said, if you're using ChatGPT to plan your whole experience, in the past, you might have used Google Maps. You would have interacted with a bunch of Google local business profiles. You might have happened across a travel blog that would
YouTube guru.
YouTube guru that was making like affiliate revenue off of you going and staying at the hotel that they recommended, and you would follow their itinerary. So now you can like super hyper personalize this for your particular journey with your particular tool. It doesn't have to just be Google anymore. It could be any combination of what's available. And that you're kind of on the very early adopter curve, and so am I for like I'm similarly using ChatGPT specifically way more than I use Google. I still hop onto Google sometimes. So I also use like in terms of LLMs, Claude. But the way I consume information, the way I ask questions is changing really rapidly. And I don't expect that everybody is going to be doing this quickly. And we as marketers need to kind of take into context, like, how are we interacting with technology in the world, and how is our potential target audience? If you are working with I don't know, a law firm that helps people that are older, like, they're probably not going to be using ChatGPT to figure out how to hire their next lawyer. They're gonna be like scrolling past. They'll probably still be confused why.
Shout out to my mom. She's great with LLMs. I'll tell you that.
Also, I think
You never know.
as soon as people learn a little bit of like what's possible, like they can evolve pretty quickly. My girlfriend, for example, would have never really thought about using ChatGPT, but she saw how I was using it, which is like, oh, I get it. Like I can basically use this to answer it, like answer any question. And whether we're making dinner or watching Drive to Survive or something, she's just like over there, like using ChatGPT. So this is evolving really quickly, and even for people that I wouldn't expect to be early adopters, still a small percentage overall, but just be prepared for how it's changing. In terms of the way it's working, I think the fundamentals are pretty clear still, or at least like it's clear enough that we don't have to act like the sky is falling and change our strategies entirely. The best LLM responses right now are the ones that combine the model data that they've collected beforehand, and they're doing retrieval augmented generation. I think that's the RAG. They're doing RAG searches. They're actually going and checking a search engine for the top listings, and collecting additional live data. For Google, AI Overviews or Gemini, like obviously they're using Google. ChatGPT seems like it's most often using Bing based on their relationship with OpenAI. But it's still the fundamentals of, if you want to be involved in that conversation, you need to figure out how to get your site into the conversation by ranking somewhere in the top pages. But they're like, when you look at it also, they're like, those tool systems are pulling data not just from the top organic listings that are like traditional websites. They're going and scraping Reddit and trying to figure out like, all right, what did everybody say about Vienna train travel, and like how likely you're going to be delayed, and if there's somebody like, oh, I love stopping by this coffee shop by the train station. So like, you need to start thinking of your brand as like, how can you just be everywhere all at once? Great movie. Which is a challenging thing for us to like accept as marketers, especially SEOs that have been kind of focused on just one channel. Just like, how do we increase our Google traffic? And like, haha, Bing is getting a few percent. But like, we just need to be thinking of, where is our target customer at? What kind of information are they consuming? Are they in traditional Google search results? Do they want to read Reddit threads? Are they watching YouTube videos? And just get our content in front of them as best as possible, because if we don't, we're going to continue losing visibility and just kind of become irrelevant to the overall conversation.
And it's a whole world in itself. I saw a little battle between Ahrefs and SEMrush happening on LinkedIn, which was
We love some
director of
software
brand.
beef.
We love the beef. um, I saw the director of brand marketing at SEMrush and the CMO both post something about them ranking first for a certain question. And it was the exact. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that one.
No,
And
but
it's like people were like in the comments, and everyone is kind of like going within this battle, because they were saying like, I mean, it also depends how much you've prompted
yeah,
that
100%.
conversation around your name.
Yeah, that is something that we really need to figure out what that looks like, especially for traditional tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs. If the traditional tools are relying on kind of a generic ranking from Google, the companies need to figure out, how do we account for the fact that everything is becoming way more personalized. I spent a lot of time in my ChatGPT talking about SEMrush, naturally. And if I asked it what the best SEO tool was, I know objectively the right answer would be, but also it would be heavily lean towards SEMrush because of that's how much background information. Like OpenAI a few months or a few weeks ago came out with memory, and it's just like I think we need to really be taking into account is that these systems, especially if you're logged in at any point, they want to lean on all of the information they have on you. If you're logged into Google, they know where you live, they know every place you've been, everything you've searched, and we're kind of just generally at a low level comfortable with that. But it's going to impact how the results are served up to or how the answers are served up to us, which from a marketing perspective, we just need to, yeah, if we're going to post screenshots on LinkedIn, we need to be aware that like we might be looking at a particularly personalized result that the average person might not be seeing. And then also just on like information consumption perspective, like potentially just being in our own little echo chambers where we want to have information that confirms our preferences or beliefs. So that's a much larger problem that the whole search industry and information consuming public is going to have to figure out. We don't have to cover that in today's conversation.
That's a long one. That even gets poetic and everything. But okay, so thinking about SEO turning more into a brand channel than a performance channel, what do you think is the next steps taking this into account? Like, what should SEOs, marketers, even C-level executives within the founding team also have to be thinking about? Okay, how are we integrating our different channels into more of a brand 360 degree than like thinking about clicks and the whole whatnots?
Yeah. Well, so I fully believe like SEO has been more of a brand channel over time, and the companies that are going to succeed the most in SEO or just in general going forward are the ones that have strong brands. I think we're moving away from the era of random either exact match domains or just affiliate blogs that did nothing but write really great content, build great links to get SEO traffic. That's obviously been happening for a couple of years now since the however many updates back. But the companies that are going to stick around and have the most traction are the ones that people actually seek out. They're not just seeing it on SEO, they're or on organic. They're coming across it potentially in an organic listing, and then they're seeing people talk about it on Reddit. They're eventually seeing a YouTube video or a LinkedIn video ad. So it's all of it coming together. I think as marketers, we are going to have to get comfortable with the fact that attribution is going to be more challenging. It's always been kind of this black magic thing, but right now there's a platform incentive to keep as much traffic, whether you're on Google or YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever. There's the incentive to keep people within the ecosystem, and there's just less opportunity for people to come across your website, get cookied into your system, and then be tracked plus privacy and all of that, whether you're in the US or Europe or anywhere around the world. So we need to be thinking of just the value of SEO more broadly than it drove this much traffic. We're thinking right now, how do we start reporting on KPIs related to impressions? Over the last couple months, the whole industry has seen like the decoupling of clicks and impressions if in their Google Search Console graphs where impressions are increasing pretty significantly and clicks are trending down. That doesn't mean, especially if you look at your traditional ranking reports where your keywords are pretty much in the same place, you're having the same impact as before. There's nothing you did wrong. Your site wasn't penalized, but you're just not getting as much traffic because those clicks are no longer there because the answers are being provided within the platform directly. But when somebody eventually still needs to buy something, they need to buy a product or fill out a lead form to get your service. All of that influence along the way, all those impressions do have value. And I don't quite know right now exactly how to calculate that value, but just ignoring it and being like, no, you didn't get the traffic this month. We have to cut your budget is just a short-sighted perspective. And what the best marketers are going to do right now is figure out how that value is shifting, how to account for it and be comfortable with some ambiguity and plan their budgets accordingly.
You know, something that I think is super interesting, and I think it's always been SEO, but people just got so closed minded that SEO is just thinking about Google. SEO is anywhere. SEO just means how people are searching for things, like optimize certain channels for people to search for certain things, right?
Yeah,
And that's
well,
happening.
so I think because the reason we're seeing so many people coming up with AI or GEO, AEO, or whatever, like the variations of it, SEO is dead, is because people are, I don't know, people get particularly attached to a specific definition, and they kind of attach their identity to it. So like, I'm an SEO, my like goal is to improve rankings on Google. The best marketers, people that have the biggest impact, are the ones that are not just focused on the channel or like I drive traffic from or search engines. Like, I want to figure out how people, like, what questions are people asking, what like problems do they have, and how can I figure how to get in front of them with the right solution. I think SEOs as a discipline have been trained particularly well to evaluate what people want, because the competitive landscape is more intense. We need to have the best performing page. We need to tinker with all the settings. We need to have our headings and intros just right so we have long engagement. We need to have as much content on the page in the past, because whatever, like all of the things that we do as SEOs to identify what keywords are people searching for, and then how do we start ranking for them, just sets us up well for just continuing to do that, where really we're just trying to find people have questions, they have problems, we can solve their solutions, sometimes for free, sometimes with a product and service that we want them to buy. So yeah.
Do you remember how you reached out to me?
Oh wow.
Because I
No, I
do.
don't.
I'm excited because I really want us to touch on this topic and start exploring SEO on different channels like LinkedIn SEO, YouTube SEO, all of those. And it was literally a LinkedIn search. You were looking for a certain keyword on like social media strategy, LinkedIn
Okay.
strategy,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
someone that could help you on that. And you didn't know about me from any other place. Like we didn't have like, I don't know, a friend of a friend or not. It was literally just a search you did on LinkedIn. I have the right keyword for someone like you looking for strategy help on things that you weren't an expert on. And that's how basically we're on this YouTube channel together. Like it's just those little simple things that you need to start learning about someone's search intent, and maybe they're going to be, if you're an expert, I don't know, your company has a tool for YouTube. Well, then you definitely have to be on YouTube and have
Yeah.
optimized words for the person searching for you. My way, I'm helping a lot of C-level executives build their social strategies, especially on platforms like LinkedIn, newsletter, yada yada yada. It's like it just makes so much sense and we forget about it. And we just think, oh, Google, SEO, Google, dead. That's fun.
Yeah, I think so. I do remember that now. And I think if I was searching for like a LinkedIn strategy help on Google, like the first thing I would do is be like, well, why am I here? If I came across your website, which you might have done a really great SEO for and ranked top three for the search, you had a good chance of me clicking on it. I still
I
would
didn't
have
even have a
wanted
website.
I still would have wanted to look at your LinkedIn profile, because that is the social proof. Is like, all right, if you can, you practice what you preach. Like, what does your presence look like? Do I trust you enough to reach out? If you're a a company that sells a YouTube product, like, yeah, you should be um, making sure you're investing in your video content and not just writing blog posts. If you're like an e-commerce company that has a particularly visual product that people need to see, then you should also probably be on YouTube. Maybe there's an example of a site that I was looking at about a week ago. They sell, it's just a small e-commerce brand that sells like a golf training aid, a stick to help you swing a golf club better. And they had a great little website, like homepage, category pages, product pages for like four or five products, and then about 100 blog posts. And it seemed like they invested a lot of effort into creating really great blog posts. Um, it was written well. They clearly took some good photography for it, step-by-step guide for all the ways you should swing a driver, swing an iron, whatever it might be. And they were ranking well, but I looked at their traffic trend and it was on the way down. Then I went and actually looked at some of the keywords that they were ranking for, and the clear through line was YouTube was all over the place. And it absolutely makes sense. If you're selling a product where you want people to swing a golf club, you should probably have free video content where you're talking about how to swing a golf club while they're using your product. and then you have a natural integration. I'm going to learn so much more about your product and be that much more convinced to buy it if I can see it actually in action compared to reading a blog post that might have 20 images in it, but it's just not going to do the same thing. So for them, they should have invested in video a long time ago, and maybe I'll send them an email and tell them they should now. But like it's like, so it's not necessarily, hey, SEO has changed, like we need to do YouTube. Like they should have been doing that all along. Their SEO company should have been like, hey, like there's a huge opportunity for you to grow. Like people are searching on the second biggest search engine, which is YouTube, for your product. Invest in this and you will see outsized returns. And especially if you can forecast the potential impact, which we do as SEOs for Google traffic. We think if you can get this much traffic and convert at this rate, you will be able to generate this much ROI. It's challenging for a different channel like YouTube because you have to use different inputs, but you can still build the case, and you just absolutely have to now. Like that company, they're going to become more and more irrelevant unless they shift their strategy, and that's just happening across the board with so many other industries.
And Leigh, if you don't send them this YouTube video, then they literally need to listen to this. Okay. So, talking about all of this, of if you could say in just 1 minute, 2 minutes, what do you think SEOs need to unlearn today after all of this that we've said? Like,
I think the first thing is just kind of just being prepared for change, like being like getting comfortable with that this is evolving, and like the way you did strategy in the past, the way that if you're on the agency side, the way you do your client reporting is changing. Like you can no longer be saying, you really should never have had this as your baseline, but you can't just be rankings are up, traffic is up, because that likely is not the case. So you need to be just
the
changing the way.
HubSpot case study, the viral
Um,
HubSpot case
yeah,
study.
poor HubSpot. Um, but so HubSpot as a company, as a brand, they're doing phenomenally well. Go look at their share price and the way they're growing, not just through SEO. SEO is a huge component. It still is. They have amazing rankings for really high value keywords, but their blog strategy on the top of funnel was just a small piece of it, and it should have been reconnected. They, I think, as a company, maybe just they were excited, or there was a desire to go after higher volume traffic that wasn't as relevant. So they've been kind of forced into and been very publicly told to adjust their strategy. But I think they're going to be the better for it because the best content they wrote was the ones that was, here's how you think about your content management system and organize your business and doing sales flow. Like they can now focus that much more of their effort on the stuff that is on the content that is very close to their business and will help their prospective customers. So yeah, just be comfortable with change, I think, is the biggest thing right now, and be open to new conversations with your team and with your clients. So like, if you've been putting off a YouTube strategy like I did for so long, like maybe actually bring that around, or whatever it is for your particular industry. Like look at how your SERPs have changed, and really try and figure out how do you need to change along with it. Because if you just stick with the old strategies, if you stick with how SEO or link building or content marketing worked in years past, then you're going to get left behind. Um, yeah, so I think that's just overall be comfortable with the change that's happening.
Okay, so I'm an SEO or a one-person marketer because surprisingly enough, some of the biggest companies out there still just have a one-person marketing team. Like usually it's surprising how many one, two, three, max five persons are inside a marketing team versus other departments. So okay, this person is like, oh my God, I am overwhelmed. I need to be active all over the place. How do I evolve my content strategy in 2025? What do I do with the blogs we already had? What's your process? For example, let's say, okay, they're going to look into their SEO strategy, the blogs they have. What's your process for deciding if a piece of content is worth updating or not?
Yeah, and this is something that we're doing right now with Backlinko, is because we have a content library of around 500 blog posts and kind of glossary guides, and we're trying to figure out, there's so much that needs to be updated on a regular basis, especially now that we we, we need to be talking about AI and LLMs and just the future of search. So what we primarily want to look at is just prioritizing the business impact. So what keywords do we want to rank for, which ones do we know drive value, and focus on maximizing our visibility there. So realizing if we still really want to be well known for everything around backlinks and link building, the traffic opportunity there is lower, but people are still interested in the topic. I still think it's a super important part of the SEO playbook is to figure out how to build links, to build overall site authority and brand authority. And it just needs to evolve. So we need to be part of the conversation, not just how to do link building the old way, whether it was broken back link building or guest posts or stats pages or whatever strategy we talk about and we've done. But now just evolving that, like it should be way more about branded links and co-citations where you're not just trying to impact the page rank algorithm with followed links. You want to be part of the just the conversation, the LLM corpus of information where if you don't get a link, fine. But if you're cited in a really contextually relevant blog post, or if you're ranked at the top of a listicle that is not linking out to you, like that is going to be feeding the algorithm. That's still going to be influencing people. So it's a worthwhile activity for you to work on. So yeah, just focus on where there's value. Be okay with sunk costs. Like if things you invested in are just no longer going to work, like it's Google's not rewarding it. Just adjust your strategy, explain to your stakeholders like how the situation has changed, and adapt.
And helping all of these SEOs and marketers of the world that have to reach out to their stakeholders and tell them like, okay, these are the new metrics. This is how we're going to define success. And actually helping them come with a narrative that makes sense, that like C-level executives are going to understand. How would you define now SEO success in this whole zero-click world?
Well, just in terms of the first thing, just speaking to stakeholders, whether it's executives or your clients, the importance of storytelling and like the way you present your strategy, your ideas is just always been super important. And this is just another iteration of it where our KPIs are changing. We still need to be focused on what matters to most businesses, which is how are we impacting revenue and growth, like at a baseline. We're doing that in a different way. We still want to talk about, I don't know, like the overall work that we've done in the past, how it impacted rankings, and if traffic is down, like where are we still seeing value? Are we a part of the like are we getting more impressions because we're showing up more often? We're getting less clicks, but we're still having influence. Is there a way for your your work to be leveraged for other content formats? If you were like not repurposing it enough, if you weren't sharing it as much on social, which Semrush does a lot, we do a lot of backlinko. We're hoping to do on video. Like, how can you leverage the work that you've already done, the stuff that's really valuable, the research, the in-depth writing, and just share that as much as possible. And then I think also just like we as a industry need to be more comfortable collaborating with other departments. Paid specifically, like the SEO not talking to paid and vice versa for the longest time, like needs to change. They're just that much more intertwined now, and will continue to be that case as Google is still needs to absorb information from the open web to deliver results, but they also want to keep you in the platform longer so they can serve more ads eventually, like to get you to not leave so you eventually can click on some sort of ad. So there's still a lot of value that the SEO team has done, content that we've created. Like one thing, just as an example for SEMrush, all of the blog posts are loaded into a data feed, and they rank organically and also get paid traffic. It's fairly profitable and like cost efficient because there aren't very many people trying to rank for all the blog posts, but we're able to have that influential touch point, get them familiar with the brand, some of our dashboards and our processes, and then when they see an ad from the paid social team or paid search team, like it's that much more effective. And we really try. It's hard to do this in a lot of organizations because you need to figure out the data pipeline, but we do try to model out the multi-touch attribution where all of these different channels are playing together. It's not paid got the last form fill, so they get the conversion. It's no, they read a blog post on SEMrush, then they downloaded a template on Backlinko, then they went and watched an affiliate video on YouTube. So all of it plays together. So you just need to figure out how to adapt your strategy and then tell the story about how it all fits together and kind of reassure people along the way.
Yeah, and I was actually going through an existential crisis conversation with you last week, I remember, about the whole how life has changed since now we don't meet our coworkers in real life. But really, like I come from for everyone watching this, I come from a selling background. I was an SDR that moved into account executive. I was that annoying person that had to cold call and cold email, and my respects to people that work in sales because that didn't last me very long. But I do remember that the whole battle between sales and marketing not having enough conversations in between each other, that everything was very siloed, actually happens all over the place within a company, like you were saying, like the internal departments as well. Internal marketing departments are working so siloed sometimes. This might be because we're all behind a screen and it's more intimidating to send someone a Slack message than to just hunch over their shoulder and ask them something or knock on their door wherever they are inside the office. Like, I feel that something that everyone within a company, either if you're a one person marketing team or a bigger team, is just learning to have more feedback loops within the company. Like understanding what's happening in product will help your marketing team no matter what. What's happening in customer success will help the SEO strategy. So not only is it like, oh, being more all over the place, but it's also being more in contact with the other people within your team.
Yeah, I think it's just something we all have to get figure out how to do and build the like the processes for that to happen either more naturally or kind of just on purpose. So one example that comes to mind that we did at the agency that I used to work at is with clients we try to do quarterly business reviews. So we would kick off a project and we would have a clear plan of how we would want to tackle things. The goal as we were building out strategies and whether it was for paid or SEO or social, whatever we were doing, we wanted to like just build out our initial playbook and talk along the way. But on a regular basis, we did quarterly business reviews. Not always quarterly, but we did them often enough where it was get the team together and just kind of think of like, how are things going with this project? How can we like if we could pitch them new ideas to increase their growth, how would we do it? And that just forced the team, which was relatively small for any particular project, to like get together and talk about what's working with yours. Like, oh, we've seen a lot of growth for this category of keywords on page paid. Oh, like we need to be ranking for those on Google like as well, or just having more intentional conversations on what's working so people can be inspired and adjust their own approach and weave it in. So I think that can be happening at the agency level. It can be happening within internal like companies. I see it. Yeah, it's a challenge at SEMrush. I think it's a challenge in every company. Like you need to figure out how to make this intentional so people feel comfortable doing it. They don't feel like they just like are stuck in their lane and do what's expected, but they are able to bring new ideas to the table and share relevant experiences because it can push everybody forward.
Yeah, lately I've been seeing that happen even internally at Backlinko, which is super, super exciting and interesting because I've seen everyone just like happily collaborating, which is just such, it also just makes your job so much funner. But I see like the lead editor sending something, sending a Loom video. Hey guys, what do you guys think about this? Am I going through the right direction here? Am I taking the right? I'm having this trouble, whatever. Like just like sending out questions and sending out ideas and brainstorming, collaborating. And now we have tools for them. We have Loom or simple video or even a voice note through a Slack channel. Of course, try to make it as organized as possible so you don't make everyone go insane. But I think that's just so much more fun because it's like, okay, I have this idea and maybe you didn't even think about it. You can be the expert in a certain field, but someone maybe in a different department will have an idea that will spark something that you never thought about before. So that's really, really cool. I love that. So now looking ahead, to wrap up, finish, we have just two more questions that I have written down here. You might have already answered this, but maybe in a short answer, what's one underutilized channel that you think SEO should be investing in more after all this chit chat that we've had around channels?
I think the one that we've definitely underutilized the most and are trying to make up for now is video. I look at. I mean, I've known this is important. It's just it is a challenge. So how do you evolve like your production process, your the way your team is set up to do a new thing? And even for us, it's challenging. Like we can write really easy to read blog posts, but then converting that to a compelling script that comes out naturally is just it's different. Like the way you write, you need to think about it differently. The resources in terms of editing and getting in front of the camera, like that's challenging. But it's when I look at the way I consume information, I'm not reading long form blog posts nearly as much as I used to. I want to one be asking ChatGPT stuff, but I also want to be if I'm going to try a new piece of software, like I want to go see what other people are saying about it, watch a tutorial, find my use case, and see somebody actually do it, and really believe that they actually know what they're talking about, not just like they wrote a blog post and they're a freelance writer that is somehow an expert on I don't know e-commerce and like procurement software. Somehow they got that job. So when you watch a video, especially if you can boil it down to like the most concise points that has a high engagement, because Google or YouTube is really tight on that, then you're going to be able to just influence them that much more. Maybe you also just need to be comfortable. Maybe you won't be able to get them to click through to your site and be able to track that directly, but if you can get them to watch most of a tutorial video about your product, then you're good to go. So, I see that's how I want to consume information going in right now, and it has been that case for a couple of years. Um, and yeah, we just need to practice what we expect.
And so many other channels are also ranking super high on Google at the end of the day. Like you see LinkedIn newsletters ranking number 2 or even number 1 for certain keywords. I was just looking at something about script writing. I wanted to learn a little bit more about something about script writing. I don't know, just like an hour ago. And I searched a certain keyword. I'm not sure what it was. And the first video that appeared was a short clip from LinkedIn.
Yeah,
And then I also saw the third clip that was ranking was the same short clip, but on TikTok.
yeah,
And stuff like that is just happening. And like Nathan Gosh, I think his name is Nathan Gosh, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
he
he's
posted
a master of
something.
this right now.
He posted on LinkedIn, guys, you guys really need to hop on YouTube, something like that. I just ranked for this keyword that would have been literally impossible to rank through my blog post through a YouTube video. So
Yeah,
it's
great. It's a great video. Everybody should go check out Nathan Gosh's YouTube channel for SEO content. Um, the example that he used in that video was ranking for the term content SEO, I think. And in the video, he is showing the live SERP, and lo and behold, Backlinko has I think the first result. I think even the featured snippet on the video, or at least the first or second result. And that keyword is frankly driving a little bit less traffic for us year over year. Partially because I think people are maybe a little bit worried about content SEO overall. But yeah, he was able to create a really great video that he turned into I think like a 17-minute deep dive of like how he thinks about creating content for SEO. Published the video, went on YouTube or went on LinkedIn, talked about it. And I think he's got a long way to go before he can reach the the overall domain authority and the page authority that the Backlinko page has. But he's been able to immediately grab that visibility. So yeah, everybody can be doing that. It's just whether or not they want to put in the time and effort. So he's doing a great job. I was also an example for my own e-commerce brand. Like I sell men's clothing, and Reddit is all over the place on almost every single SERP. And there's plenty of really active Reddit communities of people asking for fashion advice or like
it's a very manly thing.
yeah, yeah, you got to be on Reddit. Ask two
I
other guys. You got to also I
I would
feel
never look for advice on Reddit.
well
Man,
guys,
I love you guys. I love you guys.
yeah,
Funny.
if you're women's clothing, maybe Pinterest or TikTok or Instagram or whatever. But yeah, for like Reddit shows up all the time. Also, Google is just there's way too much Reddit in general. But there's constantly people asking like, should I wear this? Like, how do I wear this? And they're just asking other Redditors. There's no reason why I can't, like, I just need to find the time to do this or hire somebody to do it. Like, go be a part of that conversation naturally. Not be like, buy my product right now. Like, this is the solution to your problems. But like, all right, here's how you should think about dressing better, and
Yeah,
yeah,
like
selling
genuinely wanting to help someone.
genuinely helps somebody. And then if you like subtly mention your product, you don't throw in an affiliate link or a trackable link, just like influence somebody in that buyer's journey, because if you can have a positive impact for them, then you're going to get upvoted and you're going to show up, and for years
And
from
if you're
now.
actually proud of what you're building or what you're selling, you're going to want to, like, if you know that your shirts are freaking comfortable, you look good as a guy wearing them, why wouldn't you want to, like, tell someone, like, hey, here are my tips. Actually, I've built this, or I'm selling this, or whatever that I think could actually help you. So it's just, it's
Yeah.
so it's so genuine of like if you're building something that's actually helpful, it's not going to feel like a hard sell. It's like I'm look, this could genuinely
Yeah.
help you.
And ideally you can like scale it, or you can build it in a way that you're kind of, so I have, I don't know, 50 blog posts on my website where I answer all kinds of different questions about how to wear undershirts and when to wear it, what the best colors are, whatever, all of those variations. So I've already done all of this research. I already have my perspective on these things. I could just like organize all of these answers in like a question bank, and then just be able to naturally go in the same way you might go comment on LinkedIn or whatever, like go just be a part of these conversations. And sometimes it's not going to work, but if you do it often enough, if you show up genuinely, learn from what works and what doesn't, then you're just going to compound over time, and all of a sudden you have a really valuable channel where you're getting referrals and sales through Reddit where you didn't think it was possible. So that's how I'm looking at, like, how can you go be a part of this channel without, like, I need to hire somebody to do this all the time. And maybe you still do need to hire somebody, but if you can supply them with the right information to get started and have really great initial impact based on work that you've already done, then that's just, I don't know, an awesome way to go about it.
So, are we getting Get Ready with Me by Leigh McKenzie soon?
Probably not on this channel.
Amazing. Okay. Last question. Leigh, where do you think SEO is heading next?
I don't know exactly. We're along for the adventure. It's gonna look different. I think AI mode for Google is on the horizon. Like, Google is very confident about this product. They've continued ramping up AI reviews. People, it's we're going to just see a declining trend for traffic from Google. That is pretty clear to me, just with the way things are going. So we just need to still focus on how do we reach our customers? How do we really understand them and answer their questions, solve their problems, and just be open to doing it, not just when they land in our blog posts or our service pages, but across the whole search ecosystem. So SEO is just going to get broader. There's going to be more questions than ever before. People are still curious. I'm not worried about that part of things going away anytime soon. I just think the landscape is more challenging, and it's going to keep changing.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so, so, so much, Leigh.
Yeah, it's
I
a fun conversation.
really, really enjoyed this. Again, everyone listening to this, feel free to comment on what you guys would like to see from such a amazing legacy, which is Backlinko, to kind of like show up on YouTube. What do you guys want to learn about? Maybe what experts do you guys want us to bring on more to this YouTube channel? Really, I what Leigh has been trying to build through Backlinko is truly admiring, and we want to make these channels, especially the ones that feel more personal, a space where experts can come in and show what they're doing, how they're doing it, and why it's helping them on certain industries, certain different types of products, so that we're all out here helping each other, trying to navigate this freaking weird world that we live in. But it's also a very exciting one. So making it like a safe space for nerds to nerd out on the things they like.
I just really want to create like the most helpful, useful content. I want to just focus on what works and kind of get rid of all the other nonsense. And it's a trial by error. Like we want to try ourselves, leverage our own team's skills, and like you said, bring on more voices of people that are in the trenches doing real work for their business and their clients. And I'm really excited to continue sharing it over the coming months. So.
Amazing. Well, that's a wrap on this one. If you have anything else to add on what's coming next, if not, I think we're done. Our first year.
No, I think yeah, whatever the standard YouTube thing is, subscribe. And yeah, I would really love to hear anybody in the comments if you're still listening. What are you excited about? What do you need help thinking through? What strategies, tactics, ideas do you want us to cover? Both on this channel as well as the regular blog. I'd love to get any and all feedback.
Great.
Cool.
Well, I think that's it.